Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to CEO via Satellite, a production of Agoracom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about important developments at their company. With us today, I'm ecstatic to have again Sean Dollinger from Namaste Technologies. He's co-founder, president, and CEO over there, and this is his 9th interview in a year that he's been with us. So that tells you the kind of contact and kind of connection Sean has with his shareholders. The company trades on the CSE under stock symbol N, and for our friends in Germany on Frankfurt under M5BQ. You can find them on the web at namastetechnologies.com or on Agoracom by searching the company's name and stock symbol. For those of you who are new to the story, Namaste is a fast-growing, revenue-generating, record-breaking company, and they're emerging as a leader in the massively growing space of vaping. More than just lip service, they're the world's largest e-commerce B2C vaporizing company. Monthly sales for July were $1.9 million, and we're going to talk about June as well. The company owns and operates 26 e-commerce stores in 20 countries. Actually, I think that's a bigger number now, and they're growing at a record pace. Specifically, in July, I'm going to read this headline. The company announced record-breaking sales of $1.34 million for the month of June. That's a 21.8% month-on-month increase. And for August 15th, the company announced sales of $1.2 million for July, representing a 300% year-on-year increase. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hey, George. Thanks again for having me. Always great seeing you. I can't believe this is the 9th show. When you said that during the opening, I'm like 9 shows. So awesome.
Well, look, the fact of the matter is most small cap companies just don't have a lot to say. They have good things to say, and they're moving along at an incremental pace. But the fact of the matter is, Namaste Technologies has just been busting out on revenue increase, on acquisitions, everything. So whenever you're back, we've got something real to talk about. So let's talk about this. Congratulations on numbers that you put out for both June and July. Those are massive growth numbers. Let's talk about how you accomplished that. How much that is organic, how much that is accretive, and how much is related to your leading technological position in the space.
Yeah, George. So I was extremely happy, obviously, with a summer month, July. Normally people are vacationing, they're away, they're out of town, all around the globe. And here we had an amazing month. And, you've met our team in the past, and I really, you've met Chad, our CTO, who's been all about the machine learning and artificial intelligence. And when we started introducing it, we saw such an amazing growth. For example, Everyone Does It, which was one of the first companies that we moved over to the platform. It was converting at 0.5% when we originally purchased that company. And now we're seeing conversion rates of 2.5%. So we're really happy with those results. And now we're going to be taking that platform that we've developed, and sorry, just to take one step back, we just applied it to Australian Vaporizers, which you know that we acquired earlier this year. And the amazing thing to see was with Australian Vaporizers, we have historical data showing that they were converting at around 4% for the last 5 years. Now on our new platform, which we developed basically from scratch, we're now seeing conversion rates of 6% already. So that's really exciting.
And you've got artificial intelligence that's actually in real time based on user behavior, changing what products people see. Is that what it's doing?
Correct. So if you think about Amazon, for example, you go and on the homepage, they'll present George with different items than they would myself. With a catalog of millions of SKUs, how do they know what to put in front of your face rather than mine. So what we're doing at Namaste, and I'm sure you've heard other LPs speaking about technology, about different websites that they've created.
Yeah, it's a little funny when I hear him talk about that, actually, especially given your leadership role. But yeah, go on, please.
Absolutely. So, we're actually creating the stuff for real, and we're actually seeing real results coming out. So what we've done, no one else has done. They don't even understand what we're doing at Namaste. We've chosen to take the platform we're developing and use it for vaporizers. It could be used for any product in the world. And if you look at Namaste's website, some people might go to the website, say it's nice, it's got a good feel, we get a lot of great feedback, but that site was created 3 years ago. We've now been working for the last 6 months on a brand new platform that's going to represent more of a marketplace style. And what that's going to allow us to do, if you go to Namaste now and you click manufacturers, for example, when we started in this space a little over 2.5 years ago, there were only 5 manufacturers that we would even want to carry on the website. So now the infrastructure of the website doesn't support all the manufacturers that exist in the marketplace today. The new website won't just be about vaporizers. If we want to go ahead and expand thousands of SKUs just in growing equipment, we'll be able to do that on the new platform. The idea is to have hundreds and thousands of SKUs that different vendors could log in and launch their products on our platform.
And when a lot of companies would say something like that normally, my reaction would be, look, that sounds great. You're going to have a marketplace with 100,000 SKUs and anybody can buy anything, because we know a lot of people, play that game, right? It's so big if we just get 1% of the market or something, but you're already hitting on all cylinders. Organically, you grow for that July over July period. I mean, you grew 298% in revenue, but you also grew about 20%, 21% just organically, right? So you're achieving that growth and your conversions are just getting higher. So what does that mean for your growth? I know you can't give us a projection, but what does that mean for your growth? Because you guys are actually converting that massive audience higher and higher into more and more revenue. Where do you think that takes you?
Well, even if we look at Namaste, which just the Namaste division might represent about $6 million in revenue, presently we've been converting that at 2 to 3%. On the new platform that we're about to launch, we've seen it take conversions, double them, even triple them. So
that's outstanding. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely. And we don't see this slowing down at all. Like, we see this accelerating all of our revenue. So we finally, I should say by September 15th, everything will be integrated onto the new platforms that we've developed. A product that we've spoken about in the past was the Grizzly Guru. We've been making small tweaks to that product, for example, which the timing can't work out better. That product is absolutely amazing. Corey's been doing a phenomenal job working on it. As well, we have our second Guru coming out, which we don't even have a name for it yet, but that's just been finished out of the pipe, and maybe it'd be fun for some of your viewers to send in some suggestions of what they think would be a cool name for the vaporizer. And we've kept with the same technology that it could be used with dry concentrates, waxy material. It follows under that line of products. That product as well will be ready to go for the Christmas season. So all of a sudden, we have a product that hasn't been in stock for the last 6 months that we expect to sell thousands of this fall into the Christmas season.
So you got new platform, updated platform rolling out. The technology that's on there is already showing that it's doubling and tripling potentially conversions. And then on top of that, you're adding brand new products. Can you guys be limited is there any limit to what you're able to do? Whereas other companies in this space are limited. They're focused on specific products and they're constrained by technology. You're global, you're e-commerce, you're based on the Shopify foundation with your own tech on top of that. Do you have anything limiting your growth at the end of the day, or can we just expect do you expect this kind of growth to just keep extrapolating over the next 5 years?
Absolutely. So 3 to 5 years, we see no slowdown in sight. And the other really big thing about it all is, and I think we spoke about this, it happened right during the summer where we were actually invited out to Shopify's main conference to give a presentation on the AI and the platform that we're creating, where Shopify said it was impossible to create a back-end system that allows us to control 30 different websites from one portal. And we said, it's not impossible because we've actually developed it and we were just calling you to ask a few questions. They didn't believe it. Since then, we've become very close with Shopify. And here, we're supposed to be a vaporizer company in the marijuana sector, and one of the largest technology companies in the world is inviting our CTO and our team out to discuss, what we're doing. So gives you and your viewers an idea of what we're up to at Namaste and what we have to offer.
So let's talk about a small disconnect that I see. Ted Hitachi put out his report recently in which Namaste is number 6, which is nothing to sneeze at. You're number 6 on that list of Canadian small cap companies, public companies, not small cap, all Canadian public companies in the space by revenue. You're 6th by revenue. But first of all, with this growth that I can extrapolate here, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, but with this growth, do you see yourself moving up that list pretty rapidly over the next 6 months?
I could see us really in the top 3 or 4, which is really realistic.
On the flip side, though, by market cap, you're well below your peers right there. What do you have to say about that? 'Cause some of these guys have market caps of $500 million, $1 billion, and you're in the $40 million range. So how do you speak to that?
George, as you know, we work with you. We love your company. Besides this, we don't really go out on the road. I'm here building up the company with our team, which I think the numbers speak for itself, and the way that we're growing and the different technology that we've implemented. We don't spend millions of dollars on IR. We'd prefer to put millions of dollars into what we have in the website and technology. So that's where we believe that there's a bit of a disconnect out there, where our market cap is $40 million versus where you're saying $1 billion or $500 million. Don't forget, at the end of the day, we have an LP license in the works, and we'll be able to carry different strains of marijuana from different companies across Canada, which is completely diversified compared to what some of our competitors are doing. We'll be able to have a whole section on our marketplace that offers strains not only from Aurora or Canopy or Emerald, or if a company now does a different type of oil, we'll be able to offer hundreds or possibly thousands of different SKUs, not just our own products.
Is it safe to say that companies actually are looking at you now, especially when you launch this almost marketplace style interface? Everything's changed since September 15th. Is it accurate to say that you're going to have companies just start coming to you and saying, look, you've got to figure it out better than we do. Do it for us, and we'll just partner with you rather than us trying to compete with you by building our own technology and not having your skill sets and quite frankly, not being nearly successful?
George, I'm shocked that our phones do not stop ringing from those LPs or those partners in Canada. It definitely says that they're not in tune with what we're doing in Canada and around the world. Because don't forget, this isn't just Canada, right? We're the only actual global company out there that's focusing on hardware across the board. And I get tons of calls. For example, we are very close to signing a supply agreement with a company from Israel. They're working on, I was out in Israel this summer for 2 weeks. Just for the 2 weeks I was out there, when different companies heard I was in Israel, my phone didn't stop ringing while I was out there wanting to speak. The only market that it hasn't happened in is Canada, which we're fine with. We're growing really great, and we actually have a license in the works. So I think we're positioned extremely well in Canada, but people should definitely take notice that we're a global play, and as marijuana legalizes around the world, there's going to be tons and tons of opportunity.
And this is just something for me now, as I observe. Look, everyone at home, you almost have what I see as a potential arbitrage, and I have to say potential. I feel very strongly about it, but I've got to say potential. You've got an arbitrage opportunity here. And the arbitrage opportunity is this. You've got a CEO of a company that's focused primarily on operations, growth, technology advancements, and doing a phenomenal job at that. The quote-unquote sacrifice for that, the short-term sacrifice, is that he's not spending the time heading around Bay Street, talking to all the big funds, all the big companies to really bring them up to speed on anything that's happening. Eventually, I'm going to assume, Sean, that's where you guys are going to get to, because that is the next step. But in the meantime, for everyone at home, you get to watch a company publicly grow, advance, grow revenue, produce numbers, add products, and take advantage of that, because sooner or later when the company starts hitting the road and starts hitting New York and the Northeastern Seaboard and the Canadian investment scene, you're probably going to have a much better wake-up effect at that point, and you're all going to be potential beneficiaries. And I say potential because you've got to do your own due diligence. Look at the last couple of press releases. Look at this company's financials. Take a look at their financials from where they were last year to where they are this year. I'm pretty sure when you take a look at that, it's going to become screamingly obvious that the company is on a tear, nothing less than a tear. So you owe it to yourself at home to take a much, much closer look at this company and potentially take advantage of that arbitrage vacuum that exists and may not exist for that much longer. Sean, hopefully I wasn't out of line there by taking over for a minute, but I just had to sum it up that way.
Well, George, one thing on what you just said, 9 shows. They could go to 9 shows, and I'll tell you the one thing that hasn't been done that I'd like to touch base with you really quick on. The one thing is the move up to the TSXV, and by no means is it on our side. So one thing that we touched base already on in the show was that we're international, that even though we're just selling hardware, vaporizers, we're in 20 plus countries. So TSXV came back, and what they requested from us was a opinion letter from a lawyer in every single one of those countries around the globe. And we face ourselves with a challenge there with a $400,000 or so legal bill, with no guarantee that every single lawyer will give a go-ahead on each of those areas. So we've been working with our lawyers still. It's definitely not that it's not open for conversation. And don't forget, this industry is so new. I think I saw something even just yesterday. There was discussion on the TSXV or the TSX on how they treat marijuana companies, even though we're not per se growing, et cetera, but the laws are constantly changing out there on this sector. So, out of everything, out of those 9 press releases that we've done and those 9 different meetings we've had, that's the only thing that hasn't come from what we've discussed with you. And, I think that's important to note.
Yeah, and credibility and track record is everything. And for those of you who have been with us, you know what Sean's delivered and his whole team has delivered. And for those of you who haven't, you owe it to yourselves. Watch the interviews, look at the financials, and you'll see that this company is for real. The revenues are real. The growth is real. You talk about 300% growth year over year. I mean, that's just phenomenal growth. So, Sean, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. You're going to keep doing what you're doing, and sooner or later, your coming out party is going to happen, and we're looking forward to that. But there's no doubt that I'm extrapolating here that you make the top 3 or 4 by Q1 2018, and then that's got to open up eyes to everybody when you start displacing, number 5 and number 4, for example, and people say, hey, how did these guys get here? We've got to be in on this. I think that's a natural thing that's going to happen, and that's all a credit to you for focusing on the business and not the stock at the end of the day. And you're still doing a great job with the stock, but focusing on the business is going to reap the bigger rewards for the future.
No, I appreciate that. And just so you know, you're definitely in line with what you're saying. September 15th, that big launch of Namaste's new platform. Let it settle in, and I'm planning to be on the road for most of October and most of November, going ahead and telling everybody what we're up to and what we're doing. So you hit it kind of bang on. I've got another month and a half of really hard work, keeping my head down here, working with the team, making sure everything goes smooth, and then we'll be out on the road.
Well, then, quite clearly, I see interviews 10, 11, and 12 coming. It's pretty easy to see those happening, from September to December, and we look forward to having it and watching your success. Thanks so much for joining us, Sean, because you're the busiest small cap CEO I know, especially in this cannabis-related space and the vaporizers, obviously. And the fact that you always take the time out to talk frankly with us, you don't use jargon, you're a straight shooter, is a pleasure for everyone.
Thanks, George. Really appreciate it and look forward to being on your show next.
You've been watching Sean Dollinger. He's co-founder, president, CEO at Namaste Technologies. The company trades in Canada under the stock symbol N, and for friends in Germany, specifically on the Frankfurt Exchange under M5BQ. Get to namastetechnologies.com to take a look at the company's products and operations. But if you really want to find out about the finance side, what it's doing on the market side, get to Agoracom, watch the interviews, look at the financials, read the press releases, and you're going to discover your next great small cap investment, I believe. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day, and we'll talk to you next time.